Okay, so since it's nearing Halloween, I thought I'd do a top 5 of like obscure and offbeat horror films that you could probably check out around this time. And they're mostly modern, since I think it's harder to find interesting films in this modern time that we're in with horror films. So I thought I'd pick more this side of the spectrum opposed to older ones.
One of the Dead.
Well done.
So at number 5 we have a film called One of the Dead, which is a Cuban zombie film. And it's a comedy horror, but like a lot of horror and zombie films, it has like an undertone, so the zombies actually are a reference to something or a metaphor for something.
En estos días han sucedido algunas alteraciones de la disciplina social causados por grupúsculos de disidentes pagados por el gobierno de los Estados Unidos.
It has these political undertones, like the zombies are often referred to US citizens and stuff, so you can really get this sense of like this film's actually trying to say something as well as being ridiculously funny and horrifying at the same time, and I really think it's a film that if you can track down you should definitely check out.
Sí, es una lástima que ese edificio nos tape la puesta de sol.
Now it's time to wake up.
At number 4 we have a film called Hard Candy, which is a film which is referenced to as a torture porn film, but it's so much more than that because it kind of uses a switch on the whole torture porn aspect of films. It has kind of a role reversal, putting the female character into a dominating position and the male character in succumbing to her, and it's a really interesting way of looking at that aspect. And the violence in this film is not used for sympathy towards a character, it's used as a device for character development and study, and it kind of opens new ways of exploring these characters, and I think it's a really interesting and fine piece of work that you should check out.
I have never hurt anyone!
It's just so easy to blame a kid.
Who are you?
Playtime is over.
At number 3, there's a television film that came out in the UK, I think it was 1992, and it was way before any of these Paranormal Activity films, and it was a small little TV film called Ghostwatch. And for me it works more than any of the other Paranormal Activity films, because in the Paranormal Activity films they kind of have these big expensive houses, but this is just a rural small house. It's quite a claustrophobic environment, and it's much like a house that I live in, or many of you probably live in. Now at the time it was originally banned because everyone thought it was real, because it kind of went between a studio and then into this house. It was more like a reality show setting, and there was a number at the bottom of the screen that people could ring, and not many people were getting through because so many people were ringing, and actually if you rang that line it said that the show wasn't real, but loads of people didn't realise that the show was actually just a drama.
Upstairs. Children, come on.
No, Sarah, stay where you are, please. Sarah, stay there, please. Don't go upstairs.
Why?
Because we hear that Susanna's got out of bed, but she's not yet
Stay
appeared.
here, I don't know why.
She's not appeared on the landing.
It's also genuinely creepy as well, because it builds up this unsettling presence of a villain called Mr. Pipes, who's the ghost that's inhabiting this house. And you get a backstory of him, which really makes it feel all the more unsettling, because you know about him, you know what he's like, but you never really get a full glimpse of him. Also, throughout the film, I think there's about 8 appearances of him, just subtly in the background or on the side. And if you can find those, they are really, really get under your skin. And I think that it's a film that's coming out on TV again soon, because it's been banned for 20 years. But if you can find it, track it down, whatever, definitely check it out.
There are incredible noises coming from the walls and from the ceiling. Ah! Oh, Jesus. Kimmy! Susie. Stop it! Stop it, Susie!
I think you're sick, Josh.
I don't feel sick.
At number 2 we have a film called The Devil's Child, or as it's known quite around the world, Joshua. Now it's a realism horror film, which is a horror film with no supernatural real entity or anything, and the cover is very misleading, and I think realism horror is very hard to do, and this pulls it off. First of all, it creates a genuinely realistic family unit, so you really feel like you believe in these characters and you believe in what's happening could possibly happen.
Did you hear that? I think there's someone in the baby's room.
She's fine, sweetie. She's fine.
I thought she was choking or something.
It's amazing how tiny they are.
This one was heartbreaking.
Unlike horror films that try and make you jump or try and gross you out, this is a film that just genuinely makes you feel uncomfortable, and it kind of shows you the traumas that some families face, and it kind of explores the fact that what you created in the world could turn out to be a monster. And it's a really horrifying thought. It could put you off having children just in general, but it's a really, really well made film, very interesting. It wasn't well received with audiences, but critics seem to understand the film more. And I think if you go in knowing that it's not really a supernatural wall-to-wall horror, that it's more of an uncomfortable and unsettling experience, then I think there's a lot to take from it.
Do you still love me, Daddy?
And finally, at number 5, we have a film that came out last year in the UK but only came out this year in the US, and that is called Kill List. Now, Kill List is another one of these realistic horror films set in for the most part, in a realism world, and it's probably one of the most entrapping experiences I've ever had with a film. First of all, you're stuck with these characters who aren't particularly the nicest of people, and you're forced into this claustrophobic and just world where the tension is always high, and the tension rarely ever explodes, so you're just stuck at this peak and you just need something to happen, and nothing. It just sustains a level of such just grittiness and makes you feel genuinely uncomfortable.
They're bad people. They should suffer.
Now these sound like criticisms, but it's what you want from a horror film. You want to feel uncomfortable, you want to feel uneasy, and this does it more so than any horror film I've seen in the last 10 years. And when the tension actually does explode, it explodes in ways which you wouldn't expect, in such grotesque violence, horrific imagery. It's just, I can really not explain this film. It's a film that needs to be experienced. It's not for everyone, but I think if you experience it, you'll at least take something from it. It also has a very open ending as well, so it encourages for re-watches, studying it, dissecting it and stuff, and it's, got a lot to talk about. So anyway, that's 5 films that I picked out. You may not agree with them, you may not like them, but if you've watched them, leave a comment below, I'll have a look, and I hope you enjoy them. As usual, if you like this video, you can just click subscribe and you can see more.